Gotta love Arizona. Howdy everybody, this is Arizona State Representative Kevin Volk, Legislative District 17, here in Saguaro National Park East, coming off of the Broadway trailhead. It's Friday, which means no legislative business, but actually we did very little legislative business on the other days of this work week, whether that was Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going to give you this week's recap, and I was inspired by something I saw while trying to film earlier. Here it is. Question is, are we going to be like the tortoise or are we going to be like the hare in the famous story? The hare is a lot faster, but thought it could give itself some breaks and still, because it was so fast, catch up in time to win the race. Whereas the tortoise, kind of like me at this pace and this hike, was just plodding along, ultimately winning the race. Spoiler alert. Sorry, I should have given you all a spoiler alert on that one. Arizona State Legislature, current Republican majority, is acting like the hare. So last year, Governor puts out the budget, executive proposed budget in January. There's no response for quite a long time, and then with diminishing time left, they kind of propose some bills out on their own, not even coordinating with other chamber, and then finally we get it done, very rushed, with only 3 days to spare, narrowly averting a state shutdown. This year is kind of shaping up to be the same thing based off of initial appearances. We've gotten through a lot of bills, and yet it's been 90 days since the governor's executive budget. Still no response from Republican legislative leadership. And so the governor has issued a bill moratorium saying she will veto all bills until there's good faith negotiations on the budget and the renewal of Prop 123. What is Prop 123? That was the program that put $300 million of money into public education for the state without coming from the general fund, which is where things are typically funded from. So this is a reminder, our schools are ranked 48th in the country for per pupil funding. So we're way behind in Arizona, and saying no to a potential source that we've used for 10 years, but that this legislative majority allowed to expire last year, and not renewing it again, that makes no sense. So the governor is saying it's time to get serious. The budget was proposed in January from my side. Haven't heard a peep for 90 days. Until that happens, we're not going to continue bills. Now, that doesn't explain why we're doing so little work. We could be doing a lot of work going through what's called committee of the whole to get lots and lots of bills ready for their final vote, but we're not doing that. It's kind of like, as a former teacher, I always think of the school version. It's kind of like saying, hey, we don't have a lot of academic subject matter to cover this semester, but instead of announcing a spring break, every student needs to come into school for one period of class per day. And similar to that, there's a cost incurred. State legislators don't get paid a lot, but we do get a per diem that's activated every day that we have official business. So this 1 hour is activating per diem, which is not a huge cost, but adds up. It makes no sense. It's frustrating. We did very little official business. Still worked on things, still had meetings, still worked on legislation. Obviously wanted to stay productive while I was up in Phoenix, but we should be more like the tortoise, less like the hare. Let's get stuff done. Let's get through all of our bills so we can be ready to negotiate a state budget, $17 billion project. That's what we should be working on starting now. No excuses. Thanks for listening. Hope you all have a great weekend. I'll keep you posted on next week. Bye.